Good morning, everyone.
Hello, hello. Good morning. What are you talking about? It's afternoon.
Is it?
It is.
Nearly evening for me.
Oh, that's true.
I
Go ahead.
I am back. I am in a studio of sorts instead of on the road.
Yeah, and this week we have a special guest, Johnny.
Hello,
This
Mr.
feels weird,
Chips.
guys. Yeah, hello. I'm normally in the chat there somewhere, but this is like a bucket list item check done.
Are you not in the chat as well?
Well, I am in the chat as well, but I'm also on the big screen, which is unusual. Stare at my own face. How you doing? You both all right?
Yeah, we're doing fine.
I'm doing pretty good. I'm still adjusting to the whole 3 hours difference plus the heat and humidity.
Like, people think sometimes when I say we're in Ottawa, and Visio MVP can confirm this. Ottawa is the capital with the greatest spread of temperatures in the world, because we can easily go to minus 30, minus 35 Celsius in the winter to plus 30, plus 35 in the summer with a 60, 70% humidity where you step outside and you're immediately drenched.
Are we getting a bit of that over in the UK at the minute? I think, we got a bit of humidity now. I think the sun's been blazing for the last 3 or 4 days. So, yeah, it's quite warm, which is unusual for the UK.
Yes, it's now everybody, instead of everybody complaining about the clouds and the rain, now they're going to complain about the heat, right?
Absolutely. That's the way it works, and you know it. Yeah, absolutely.
Complaining in the Commonwealth is a national sport. So what are you talking about?
I think complaining is a human thing, just not just in one specific country or something.
Yeah, so we decided to invite you, John, because every week, which is something that the other show doesn't do, which we have an actual production meeting and kind of try to figure out what we're going to talk about. And we started thinking, what do streamers do when they're looking for content? And I know you've done a lot of streaming lately, so we figured, hey, let's ask somebody other than the two of us, like what your process is, like your experience, what are other things that you try? Because we try everything live without too much testing beforehand, because we want to make sure that we test it at the same time as people see it, so that they can see what the potential problems and issues are going to come up. So like today we are streaming using StreamYard, which normally we're doing on OBS. Bunch of different. It's a lot simpler to set up and to stream, but it's a lot more simple in terms of what controls you have. Like, for example, the countdown is just a video that plays, and you have to wait till it finishes.
Yeah.
So, how do you? Well, what is your process, John?
Well, I mean, I've got a few different processes, but I got into the rhythm quite early on with I set up a Twitch channel and thought, well, I had this idea that I would just go and do something, whether it was, you see a lot of people doing like that kind of live coding and live learning type of session. I thought, well, maybe I could do something like that and just help people and get people in the chat and talk about it. And I think I did that a few times early days back last year sometime. And then, I had the idea of kind of just changing around a little bit and looking to maybe do a few YouTube videos, do pre-recorded things, then stream those things out, which is what I actually do now once a week. I'll go on Twitch. Actually, it's after this show, a bit later on tonight, I'll be streaming out a video recording, which is just, your general recording with another community member or a technical expert, and we're talking about a specific topic area, and I'll stream that out. But yeah, it's ideas are great, but I think the one thing I've noticed is that once you do this, look, you don't get a huge amount of viewers, so it's like you got to realize what you're doing it for, and for me it was more around COVID hit. I had all this time on my hands because I was usually out being dad's taxi and driving around the UK for my job. And, I just didn't have this amount of time. So I thought, well, I'll use it as an opportunity to kind of learn all of this stuff, learn all of this tech, have some idea and try and do something. And so I've really flitted between a lot of different styles and techniques. And along the way, like you guys are doing now, just use different tech, use different things and try and find your way through it. More of an experience and a bit of a pastime almost. But at the same time, you're kind of doing something related to your area of work as well. So yeah, I've flitted around, is probably fair to say, but I've got to the point now where I'm kind of doing 2 regular streams a week. And at the minute, they're both pre-recorded. I occasionally jump on shows like this that are streamed out live. So yeah. And there's various technical things that I get set up to actually do those things. So we can talk a bit about them if you like, and give you a few ideas as to what works for me and what kind of doesn't.
Sure. Well, I want you to walk us through your setup how you get this done.
So yeah, well, straight off the bat, I kind of, the non-tech part is reaching out to people and actually coming up with a bit of an idea with actually what you're going to speak about. So I started off talking to other people in tech that were kind of on this whole learning journey, because look, there's always something to learn, right? So I thought if I was doing that and kind of helping, explore my experiences with other people, I'm going to get something back from that person I'm speaking to, as well as hopefully I'm letting people know what my experiences are. And if I recorded that or streamed that, that was the whole premise of it. So I'd reach out to people, we'd set up a meeting, and I actually use a free bit of software called OBS Ninja. So obs.ninja. Okay. It's a bit like StreamYard to a certain extent, because I know StreamYard is free up to you've got certain resolutions, but OBS Ninja is very similar in that you capture the camera, the audio, and then I actually use OBS, the thick client on the computer, to kind of bring in that video stream as a web URL. So it brings it in as a web, I forget what they call them now in OBS, but it's like a web object, isn't it? Just trying to
web
look
page,
now.
I believe, is what
a
they
web
call
source.
it
A web source.
A web source, yeah. They call them web sources. So you're literally grabbing the camera, and of course we know on OBS you can kind of just drop that on and move it around, drag and drop it to whatever you like. So, setting things up like the backgrounds, you can kind of go for your life. It's almost like a PowerPoint page that you can drop items onto, arrange them, as you see fit. And you can kind of show and hide elements and move things around and put video and media files. So anyway, I've got a set of OBS scenes that I just bring that video into, and I've got a standard process. So I try very hard not to have to edit anything, because I tried it first, early doors, and I am going to go back to it. Actually, I've recently got a copy of Camtasia, so I'm going to give that a shot and start trying to do editing. But I tried it early doors, and look, it's just about a time thing. You do all the recording, which is one thing. That takes a good couple of hours by the time you've sat down, had a chat, recorded the video, quickly checked that the video is actually okay for audio and picture and things like that. So to throw editing on top, you're looking at another hour, 2 hours maybe. So you can spend, potentially a good 3-4 hours getting one piece of video footage sorted. So I use my Stream Deck. So for those that don't know what a Stream Deck is, Google Elgato. They just had some great announcements, haven't they, Elgato, with some more things to spend your money on. And I use that really. The idea is with the Stream Deck is that you use the buttons to flick between the various scenes, so that you can almost just hit record, start off with like a little intro page, countdown timer, whatever it might be, things like that, and then hit the button, switch to your other scene, and then literally just like we're doing now, just have a chat with the guest, record that for however long we want to record for, and then again, got like a little ending scene. So the idea is, the process is that I record it from start to finish, and provided nothing technically has gone wrong, which does happen, that video,
especially with the Friday afternoon shows.
Stop.
I take my inspiration from Jared. No, joke.
Great.
Yeah,
but Cameron, you ended up with that kind of finished video that you then upload to YouTube or stream it out onto Twitch, which is what I do on a Friday evening. So I take that video again through OBS, stream it, and I actually stream it out. I sit here and I stream out through OBS. But what I do then, I actually put a bit of background music on it in OBS and stream it out, not just the video flat, if that makes sense. So I put another timer on. So it's quite an involved process, to be fair. And yeah, people ask me, how do I have the time to do all this? And I think, yeah, I'm not quite sure anymore. But you do. It's good fun. It's good fun.
It is. I think I need to time out Fuel Snobble there. Hey, wait a minute. Come on, guy. Everybody, stop.
Yeah.
It's been I actually had some fun the other day. I actually took the patch and switch from the 11th of June. I had all the I got all the files off Twitch because, of course, since OBS crashed, my local copies were totally horked. Can't recover them. Tried everything I could, but I did have the files from Twitch. So I went through and I did have some fun with it. And I'm using actually DaVinci Resolve for my video editing.
Yeah.
From Blackmagic, and it is absolutely incredible, and it's free. And if all you're doing is titles and some minor transitions, it works perfect for that. And I finally have a template set up. One thing I know we talked about, we're trying to get our videos up onto our YouTube channel for testing and production. I've actually finally edited all 9 episodes. By the way, this is episode 10, so double digits. Woo! We made it
already.
Yes, we made it, Johnny, and we got Johnnychipz on for number 10. So, Yep, and that's why when we get to 100, we'll probably have to have him back for sure. If not
for
before
100,
then,
yeah.
But, and it was mentioned, by the way, just if you guys don't watch Johnny's weekly roundups of the Azure community and also the IoT community, it's a great 30 minutes to listen through. It's
my ramblings. Yeah. It's my ramblings of the week. It's things that have caught my eye in the week and stuff that I've been involved with. And it's just, that's, to be honest, Jared, that's one of those things is that for me, it's like you're learning so much and you're reading about so much. It's almost like for me, I get up early on a Friday morning to do this video. And I look back through my Twitter feed. I look back through LinkedIn and I go, right, okay, this is the stuff that I've been looking at and playing with over the weekend. And it's like helps me remember these things, and reach out to other people and jump on some of the other community content that I spotted. So
exactly. We're going to have to get the URL from you so Pierre can post it up. But one of the fun things, though, I especially like the Johnnychipz on the side portion of the episode. I always give a good giggle whenever I hear, Johnnychipz on the side.
With a Z, eh? With a Z.
With the Z, yes, got to have the Z. And
Z or Z?
Yeah. Well, that was quite comical when Joey came out with that. I did say I'm going to have to get some merch done now next time. Next time there's an Ignite session, I got visions of me walking in with this with a Z jacket on. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Just stay away from the folks that are the Pulp Fiction. About Zed being dead. Zed's dead.
Zed's dead. Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah, I don't like that affiliation, to be honest. Thinking back about that film.
But one of the interesting things that I found as we got into the lockdown is we have this sort of. Were you a speaker before you started doing the YouTube channel? So did you speak at events or at user groups? And I know for myself, I spoke a lot at SharePoint Saturdays, a few user groups, definitely some conferences. I still speak a lot with customers, but they've gone virtual, but the volume has definitely dropped. And I had that kind of creative, I want to do something. Is that the same thing that happened to you?
Yeah, well, it was a weird thing. I mean, to answer that directly, no, I wasn't a public speaker. I've done a bit in the past. I've done a few, things like we get things like Ignite the Tour, and in London and Excel, we get a thing, there's a few expos, and Future Decoder, of course, comes to the Excel Centre in London. I've done a couple of gigs there, so to speak, with the company I work for. So I've been up speaking about various offerings, but not to the extent that I was going around the circuit doing user groups and public speaking. And I was kind of, I wouldn't mind doing that kind of thing, but then equally I wasn't overly fussed on being a public speaker. But I think for me, the creativity side, and I've spoken with people about this actually, is, I've got a music background, so I'm used to being up playing with bands and just, that whole kind of creative, having a bit of a laugh and just doing something, just making something. So it I think it stems from that I kind of wanted to there was multifaceted reasons why I kind of got all this kit together, why I got the room together. There was so many things. It kind of just felt, well, yeah, let's just go and do it. COVID hit. I'm going to fill the room full of gear. The kids get a chance to kind of learn music production. I got Pro Tools set up. I've got the drum kit. I got a few other mics, and that's what I did when I was in school and college. I came through doing all, sort of music production. So I learned all music production techniques and things like that. Look, I've not used it since, to be honest with you. And this was almost like, it's a chance to kind of see if I can dust off those old, brain cells and see if they can remember how to do some of this stuff. So, yeah, that was what it was. So I think, yeah, you're right. There's that creative urge there, isn't it? That you want to do something and try and, make it something useful, hopefully, if you can. If not, then, okay, no problem. I'm just having fun,
Yeah.
Well, I find that in my case, or in my team's case, for example, we always had touch points with the audience. So MITT around the world, Ignite, going to meetups around, depending on where we were going, because we always have this concept of twofers and threefers. So if you're going to go somewhere, don't go somewhere for a single event. If you're going to Orlando or like in November, I'm planning to speak at a conference in Tennessee. I've never been to Tennessee. That's going to be fun. In Nashville. But I'm going to reach out to whatever local groups they are there and say, okay, I'm in town for this. Is there something I can do on top of? So always 2 for 1 or 3 for 1. That way it's a little easier to get your boss to approve the expense, number one. But this was our touch points with the audience. This is how we get stories, because sometimes as a speaker, you need stories. Stories are king. If you're just saying, well, this program has got like this feature, and it's got this feature, and it's got this feature, and let me show you how this feature works. Click, 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 done. Okay, next feature. It gets really boring really quick. Plus, people can get that info pretty much anywhere. But if you wrap it around a story, a scenario that the audience will relate to, it goes through, and it's a lot more engaging. But if you're not talking to the audience, you're not getting those real world scenarios that somebody says, I'm trying to do this and it's not working. And you start thinking about it and you start researching it. So we didn't have that. So we figured, okay, how do we still get some kind of connection with our audience? So we started, okay, well, we set up our Discord server so that we can get a conversation going. And then we said, okay, well, how do we talk to them on a regular basis so that they don't forget about us, that we're still here to listen to them? So we came up with AZ Update, which is, it's a bit of the news, but it's kind of like it's a touch point. And then we did, Sarah in the UK is doing, she's got her own YouTube channel, and she's participating in the IT Ops Talk. Actually, she's a big part of the IT Ops Talk YouTube channel. And so we went from in person as our go-to to now we had to figure out what the hell we were going to do. So we turned to streaming.
I think that's the thing, isn't it? I think, trying to find that outlet. And look, I'm probably, one of those people that, I'm in partner land. I work for a Microsoft partner, and, I was one of those people in the crowd with a rucksack on, following around, the streams throughout the food halls and back out into the sessions, and reaching out to guys like yourself, to have those chats. And yeah, it's been strange, I think, from that side of the fence as well, because I would use those sessions, yes, to sit down and learn some new things, but equally the networking was always a big element. And whether that's meeting up with old colleagues or people from Microsoft to talk about customer issues or potential opportunities, yeah, and that's gone. And I think now I think that's the thing. Everybody seems to have turned to streaming or recording YouTube, and I think companies like Elgato and manufacturers of cameras have kind of hit the jackpot to a certain extent. And obviously we know the issues with PC components, but yeah, it's it's a strange thing, isn't it? Because I think we're at the point now where it's almost saturation point, where You know, we're talking about this on a live stream now, and it's kind of, I don't know, it feels that we've kind of hit that plateau, and now we're getting back to normality a little bit, that things are starting to tail off. I don't know if you're feeling similar things there.
We are definitely, and I noticed that my boss is in the chat, so I have to be careful what I say. We haven't had the rewards conversations yet this year, so. But
thanks. Appreciate that.
So we do see the online fatigue. And now it's like the pendulum. It's like the elastic band. Like we've stretched it for virtual. Now that we're in North America and parts of Europe, that the reopening is happening, and like it's snapping back to where it was, where people are like, screw that, I'm not watching a screen. I'm gonna go out and see people. I think at some point it'll kind of normalize, but the streaming and the online portion, for a good portion of it, is here to stay, because corporations have realized that you reach like, even if we just look at Ignite, you get 30,000 people in Orlando. Not everybody can afford to go there. Not every company will pay for you to go there. But we get like 250,000 people registered online.
Yeah.
Where's your reach? Where's the ROI? Now, if there's a way to combine that and have best of both worlds, but you'll never have the in real life experience online, and that's a conundrum that we've been trying to figure out, but it's hard.
I think you just go on, Jared. Sorry,
I was just gonna say it's super hard. I know. We had Mr. Campbell, Mr. Richard Campbell, on Patch and Switch a couple of weeks ago, and chatting with him, it was he finally did a kind of a first virtual type an environment, or a virtual type
hybrid. He did a hybrid
event, and there are so many things we're still learning. Like, one of the things that he brought up was, it helped the virtual presenters to have a camera in the room to see the room of the people who were attending in person. So that little things like that we're still learning in this.
So yeah, I mean, that's a really valid point, actually, because I think, I mean, I helped co-organize, little plug, the Welsh Azure user group over here in Wales. Clang. I mean, it's been great throughout the pandemic. Yeah, throughout the pandemic, it's been great because we've had Scott Hanselman join, we've had Abel Wang join, we had Tim Warner on last night. Again, all these big, heavy hitting, speakers across the piece. And I remember going to user groups in person, and look, you're going to struggle to get those people to come physically and be in the room. So you're kind of limited to that kind of speaker, and the pandemic, if nothing more, has kind of enabled those virtual communities to kind of actually start to flourish quite a lot. So one of the things we've been talking about now is, when we do get back to face-to-face, is absolutely keeping, a laptop and a camera in the room so that we can stream that event. Yeah. And like you say, Jared, that idea of, I get that, putting a camera on the audience is such a cool idea, because it's like, and who knows how that's going to work out. Yeah. I mean, I noticed somebody was typing the other day about things like swag and gifts, T-shirts and stickers and pens, which, look, let's face it, for anything like me, that's one of the main reasons you go to these events, is to get your year's supply of pens. So I'm struggling at the minute, to be honest, for pens. I'd be some all up, but things like that. How do you give those things away at in-person events, and how do you kind of make your virtual audience feel included in that kind of thing? There's lots of things to work out, isn't there?
Yes, true enough.
I have to admit, necessity being the mother of all invention or innovation, the pandemic has done something, and Johnny, you touched on that earlier, where hardware manufacturer, like people like Elgato and stuff like that, have come up with some really cool gear that you can now leverage for that. One that I saw last week, and I am debating whether or not I'm going to pull the trigger, because I need another camera. Like, I need a hole in my head. but there's the ob spot. Anybody seen that one? The ob spot.
No.
So
Don't think no.
it's a gimbal. It's called the ops bot. The ops bot. Sorry, Tiny, which is a gimbal mounted USB camera. So USB-C. So that you plug into any laptop. But it has built into it. It has some kind of AI, so kind of like IoT edge built into it, where if you look at it and you make certain gestures, so if you hold your hand like this, it locks on you, and then as you move, it follows you around.
Ooh.
Then if you there's another gesture where it'll zoom into you and zoom out. So think about it for if you're at a meetup or something, you put that into the front row, and it follows you on stage, so you can have that, and you don't have to the problem of like stepping out of the frame and coming back.
I'm only laughing because I can think of the gesture to have it stop following you.
Well, if I could pixelate my screen,
surely.
I would show it to you.
The problem is, Pierre, you talk about things like this, and all that happens is that I go on Amazon after and Google it and Amazon it, and then all of a sudden my bank balance seems to drop significantly. So it's dangerous.
Yeah, sure. Visio MVP says that maybe the next show I'll bring donuts for the audience or beaver tails. I could, but you'd have to come and get them in here in Ottawa.
Exactly. Can't get that over the border.
No, and for people that don't know what a beaver, and people that don't know what a beaver tail is this wonderful pastry, and I don't know what kind of dough it is. I think it's almost like a donut, like a cruller dough, but it's the size of a beaver tail, and it's like deep fried and then covered in sugar. In some come with the Nutella, some with there's different kinds, and they're absolutely wonderful. They're a staple in Ottawa, especially during the Winterlude Festival.
I'm missing lunch right now for this, so you're making me hungry.
Oh,
I'm gonna go have to get a slice or two. Yes, fuel
beaver
novel.
tail.
That sounds totally healthy.
Maybe I'll go get one, and next time I'll just eat it on the stream.
There we go. That's I can go get a slice of New York pizza.
And what will Johnny have? Some
fish and chips.
I was just trying to think what have we got in the UK. It sounded like you were describing Yum Yums, Greg's Yum Yums. If there's any people from the UK in the chat, they'll know what they are. They're kind of like donuts things, long things covered in icing sugar.
Actually, Buckeye J-Flo just put the link to the beaver tails. This is a place it was basically invented in Ottawa. There's absolutely nothing healthy about those things, but they are so wonderful.
They sound like deep fried Twinkies at the Texas State Fair.
I have seen in Georgia at a fair deep fried butter sticks.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What?
I'm just on the nutritional value page here. Well, 600 calories for a classic. I know 400 for a classic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not too bad.
Yeah, but look at the one with the Reese's Pieces and the Nutella. I think they called it hazelnut spread because they don't have the rights to actually call it Nutella.
Hazel Armour. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could probably get away with 2 or 3 of those in a sitting, really, isn't it? If they're only 400 calories.
Oh, they are wonderful. Jared now has an incentive to come to Ottawa during the winter. Nobody wants to come to Ottawa in the winter, especially some people from south of the border.
Hey, I lived in Montana for 15 years, man. I know
Montana's not as cold as here.
30 below?
Yeah? 30, 35 below?
Yeah, that's what it gets to in Montana too, dude.
Oh, okay.
And we actually get real snow, like 3 feet of it. Jump. So.
Yeah, 3 feet. We get 3 feet, but we'll have to figure out. Vizio says minus 40. Don't tell them he won't come.
Yeah, whatever. You gotta. I think as I've explained to some folks, I don't have a problem with cold. I can always add layers. It's the heat that I have a problem with, and after a certain layer, you get arrested.
or you get removed from the stream.
Hey.
All
I'll
right,
just hold you guys up here.
yeah, that's the other thing. We were talking about the differences in StreamYard. Is I have no control over that. So if I'm adding somebody when removing somebody,
I think you can. I think you can drag them on the screen, can't you, Pierre? You can drag the order of the video around, can't you?
Can you?
Oh yeah.
Oh, hey.
Oh,
we are
test
testing in production.
Yeah. There's only a certain amount. Like I can go only one person. Or we could go side by side like this, or this one. Or this one, and then the other ones have is for screen sharing, but it's fairly limited in terms of how you can set up your scenes.
But it's good for quick conversations like this, a screen share. I mean, we can actually even throw in. We were having fun a little bit with this earlier. I can throw in. You want to throw in the mobile view here?
Yep.
And we were looking around my office here in New York, and I got myself set up with my lights and my computer, and I'm on my mobile phone, and I have unfortunately the monitor is battery, and it died. But I have a little monitor now that I can put on top of my camera.
So, Jared, do you that little monitor there? Is it a Is it like taking a HDMI output from your graphics card, or have you got it on a split with one of the other monitors?
It's actually on HDMI from my graphics card.
Okay, yeah.
From my RTX 3080.
Shut up.
Clang. Did you deconstruct your bit mining rig? Did you to put that in?
No, I spent a lot of money on my rig to put that in. I hauled my big rig, my big desktop, all the way from Seattle.
Okay.
I knew it was, I'm here.
I thought
for
you'd
2
just
months.
take the Nook.
I did. I have the Nook. The Nook is right over here, and that's my work machine. The desktop is my personal machine.
Ah.
So
should we say hello to the chat? Because I
think we should.
So
give a quick shout out. We got Buckeye Guy J Flow, who's thank you for stopping in. Rickster CDN. I don't know who that guy is. Do you know who that guy is?
Morning, boss. You look good today, boss.
I'm a little worried. 2020 is in the chat room as well. It's like they're following us. Exactly. I think it's a bot, but we don't know.
We don't know.
Absablog and Lootly, Academy Impossible, Asia Diane. Can put a pronunciation in the chat room. I'll say it. A10 Commander Root, our favorite of bots. Exchange SME, Fuel Snobble. We have Goat Eep, Goatee PFE. Jonnychipz, who's that guy? Tom Toms
with a Z.
With a Z.
With a Z.
With a Z.
Okay, with Zs. TE Cable Guy, VNK, the official liquor of Patch and Switch, Virgo Pro with a Z, and Vizio MVP. And I also see Dave from Crush Networks. Nice to see you back in the stream.
And what's with okay? I was wondering that what's with the Z? Because now we see it a lot. Like there's Johnnychipz with a Z, and now there's like Tom Toms with a Z, and Virgo Pro with a Z. Like
so for me, it was my nickname has been Johnnychipz with an S for a long number of years. And I think there was some social platform I was trying to sign up for, and lo and behold, somebody had it. Would you believe?
Oh, okay.
You know, how dare they? So I just changed the S to a Z, and yeah, that was it for me. Well, yeah, I think Joey called it out then, didn't he? And that was that. It was
that
Johnnychipz with a Z.
Exactly, and that's how it typically occurs. Speaking of which, I don't see him live, but he might watch on one of the things. Happy birthday to Mr. Joey Snow. He had his birthday on Tuesday this week. Did you listen to his broadcast last Saturday. His 3-hour DJing.
I know. I did listen for a bit. It was good set.
I listened from like 11, and there's another interesting thing. They are on, I can't remember the service right off the top of my head. My phone's over
Speakers.
here.
Speakers.com.
Speakers.com. But because they're doing DJing, they don't really want to have video. And so they're doing live audio, almost like streamcasting.
Yeah, it's like live podcasting.
It is, and with no video, and it was a great set, and they have a chat room built into the platform, and it's trying to find the right platform for one to be on. It's been interesting to see how folks are getting that set up.
Well, different platforms have different audience types. So Speakers is more of that, but there's regular podcasts on there, and then there's like. The way I look at it is try to find the one where discoverability is the highest, because you want people to find you. And that's one thing with Twitch is unless you know which podcast you're going to, it's really hard to find it. It's not like the YouTube rabbit hole where as you're watching and scrolling some videos, other suggestions come up based on the stuff you've already watched, and so you can go, oh, Johnnychipz is here. Oh, great! I'll go watch that one. On Twitch, unless you know, you get suggestions sometimes, and I haven't figured out that one yet. But the in real life in a hot tub, what the hell is that about?
I have no idea. I know all sorts of Twitch streamers like game streamers are making fun. I actually watched one game streamer did a game stream from the hot tub, and he used his gaming laptop and it was actually a advertisement cast from the company that makes the gaming laptop, but he's sitting there in a hot tub playing Warzone.
What the hell? Like, it makes no sense to me, and it's really hard to like screen out the crap.
Exactly. No, we did not. Fierce Novel, no, we did not announce a hot tub stream at all. No,
that is not something we want to subject anyone to.
If we do any sort of hot stream, it would be a hot donut stream. Go get some Timmy's, maybe.
Oh, maybe, yeah. Okay. I was trying to figure out
Timmy's with
I was
a nice
trying to,
cup
if
of
it was a
coffee.
euphemism for something else, but
No. Go to Timmy's.
I have a question for Johnny.
Okay.
Because I know Jared and I have had that conversation. What?
I'll call on Mr. Roman. You can.
Oh, I can ask my question. Okay, good. Jared and I have had this chat before, and I've had the same with Anthony, and I've had, because we have different shows, like we have AZ Update where Anthony's the anchor, like he's always there, and then the other co-host kind of rotates. And on Patch It Switch, you got the two the
boss
guys.
is gone. You can say whatever you want.
Is he gone? Is he gone?
Yes.
Okay. The two morons. No, I'm just kidding. That's just a test to see if he's still listening.
Exactly.
Okay, nothing in the chat. We could go. All right. And for us, we have, but we're new.
Oops, he's back.
Oh, he's back. Crap. Oh. And we've had that discussion with the people that do Hello World, where they have a different host every day. He is not gone. Sorry about that, boss. What is your take on the host, and how important do you think it is? Like, what is the pros and cons of like rotating hosts or rotating stream members? Like, what's your take on that?
Ooh, that's a deep question. I think it depends what you're trying to aim for with the stream. I think, if you're representing a company and it's a regular thing and you're trying to portray information, I mean, having that regular host is kind of building towards your brand, would be my take. But then if you're doing it, as a little bit of fun, maybe to learn the technology, then obviously rotating hosts is a good way of learning the skills, learning how to speak to a camera, that kind of thing. So that would be, is that a sitting on the fence answer? Do you think? I think it is. I think it depends what type of show it is, what the show is actually, what you're trying to do with it. I think would be my answer.
Okay.
Because like you can look at the Hello World show, and they do cover a lot of different areas in tech, don't they? So they get on various people to talk around IoT. It might be C# or whatever, some kind of coding session, or it might be then somebody from another product team. So I think having a regular host on a show like that might be difficult because you're crossing the boundaries in different areas of tech, maybe.
But what about having one anchor that brings in, like one regular anchor that brings in different people with?
Yeah, I suppose that's just about availability of that one person then, isn't it? And I think if you're doing a podcast or a stream, for me now, I've kind of made a little bit of rod for my own back because I started doing my Johnnychipz Weekly and I do the In Conversation With, and it goes out, they both go out on a Friday. So today for me is like nothing short of a video production day, and I'm one person. So I think if you're pinning a task to one person, unless they're, effective, because look, I guess, unless you're doing it for a business, you're not paid to do this stuff. Yeah. So we've all got families and, we're all going to be going on holiday. So I guess having that one anchor person, if they become central to that show, then obviously if they go or get hit by that proverbial bus, then you kind of need somebody else to do that then, don't you? So, yeah, I think it just adds to that authenticity, I think, and that regular brand of the show if you have that one anchor person. I don't think that's a problem, but as long as they're available, I guess. Okay. What did you get to then, Pierre? What were your thoughts? Where did you get to on that?
Well, I've always believed that people connect with people, but people appreciate content. So if it's just for the content, you may not make the commitment to like put it in your schedule that the Patch and Switch is every 2 weeks. And every second Friday, you kind of reserve that hour to go watch Rick and Joey. And I do. Well, so do I. But we've made like a connection with those people and audio Steve the audio guy. If it's just for the content, especially in a show that is tech based, the content can be viewed on my own schedule. I don't have to make that streaming commitment to be there live. And if it's about, and I'll take an example here because I watched it this morning. If it's about, for example, the Elgato the new webcam that they have, which is something that I'm probably going to have to get anyway. So the ops bot so I'm going to have cameras coming out of my, where's my mute? Where's that? But the point is, I think I've been a firm believer that number one, people connect with people. So you make that connection with the person, then you appreciate the content.
Yeah.
And that's if the content is just a bunch of here's a feature, you don't, and then you lose the value, but you may still join in because you appreciate the person.
I would agree. I would agree with that. And I suppose you're back to one, working out why do people, why are people watching this stream now? I mean that in a serious way and not in a jokey way, but what is it? So I suppose it's that element of entertainment and not necessarily just in the tech world, not just about you're there to learn something or find out about a feature or whatever. So I think, it still goes back to what is that show actually trying to do? Is it for entertainment? So I think I watched the Patch and Switch show. I mean, whether Joey and Rick know it or not, but I've kind of bumped into them over the years for probably the last 10 years at events, and get the selfie with them and go about my business. But so, that's why I join in and watch, because, for some reason, the guys work in a very similar area that I've worked in throughout my career. So I've always kind of, any content that I've ever gone and watched, it's always had Joey or Rick or, the IT ops team as it is now associated with it. So I've always kind of followed that infra ops kind of content. So that's why I watch it. back to your point, I suppose, it's you're following the people then, aren't you?
Yeah, well, the people and then by association their content. You'll never experience the longest commute between bar to other bar at the Ignite party than when you're walking across the party grounds with Rick and Joey. Because every 5 feet somebody stops, and Pierre ends up being the de facto.
Yep.
Yeah.
Pierre and Jared do. Yep.
Yeah.
But how many? And I really feel bad. There's probably a lot of people from both. I know Chicago and Orlando, where we both ended up doing that, and they ended up with a whole bunch of pictures of Jared and Pierre.
Oh yeah.
For the picture of them with Joey and Rick.
So somebody hands you their phone, and say, "Can you take a picture?" He goes, "Yeah." You switch the camera, so it's the front-facing camera. You take 5-6 pictures, and then you switch it back, and then you take 1 or 2 of them with Rick and Joey.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's definitely interesting, and it's when we were talking about it, there's definitely there's a conversational kind of type show versus instructional, like a webinar. And I really feel the conversational type show, you're definitely coming for the personalities. You're definitely, they might talk about tech
Or the lack thereof.
Yeah.
Talking about me here.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about me again.
No.
I disappear from screen now.
Exactly. He's just like, I don't know these two. But it's versus something that's like a webinar, and sometimes you're gonna be following a lot of webinars. Like, I mean, how many people watch? I know a lot of developers watch Scott Hanselman, all of his kind of webinars.
But Scott is one of those very rare people that has both the technical and the how to, but also that personality and those quirks that makes you come back for the person. He could be sitting there for half an hour talking about what shirt he picked that morning, and people would still watch it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the same thing that we definitely see as a part of what we're trying to do here, and trying to build up, if you will, kind of like our brands. I mean, I know we get a consistent 20 people live, and we thank every single one of you that stopped by. And yes, we're we kind of we're pulling on the Patch and Switch audience, but I think people are showing up as much for us as the fact that, Patch and Switch went live. Wait a minute, it's not a Patch and Switch week, and then they see Pierre and myself. So
but we're like the Secret Service.
Yeah, exactly.
The hair's moving.
The hair's moving.
But it won't be long before you branch off into your own Twitch channel, surely, guys. I think that's imminent, isn't it? Get your own brand, get your merch shop set up, and before you know it, Joey and Rick will be holding the camera, taking pictures with you guys, with people. Then.
Yeah, sure, okay, yep.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
Yeah, no, that's fine. And it's something actually I just enjoy talking about, and like when I was on in conversation with Johnny. Back, it was April, right? I think is when it was published.
Yeah.
And we just had an hour and a half of just us laughing and talking. We talked tech, we talked streaming, we talked a whole bunch of things, but it was just a good conversation. And
you know what, Jared? That's why I think that I like doing those videos for that. Like I said to you before, it's like you reach out to some, because look, there's so many awesome people across the community. Yeah, there's so many brilliant people doing brilliant things. And at first, I was just kind of grabbing colleagues and a few people I knew just to kind of learn the ropes. But now it's like, they're doing something fantastic. Let me reach out. Let me have a chat to them about it. And then, you get to know the person. You get to see their journey, what they're up to. And look, and I learned something as well, because they're talking about areas of tech that, okay, I may have heard of or I may have dabbled in, but they're telling me things now that because I'm having that one-to-one conversation, they're kind of staying in there somewhere. Yep. That and so it's like a win-win, isn't it? You're creating content, you've got that personal side, plus you're getting a little bit out of it that you may, and you're getting that person's opinion and viewpoint and experience as well, and not just a, like you say, Pierre, click, next, finished kind of talk,
Yeah,
which is cool.
I was on. I got my cup here. I had to show it off. I did Run As Radio with Mr. Campbell once, and
They pick up that name you dropped there.
No, no, I don't get to drop that many of them. When I'm dropping them for good. And we were talking, and the discussion was based on infrastructure as code, ARMS, bicep, versus like all of the basically anything that's infrastructure as code tooling, and why it's important, and why IT people should just pay more attention, that it's not just a dev thing anymore. And we had such a good conversation around it, and it wasn't a feature. It was more of a, this is my take on it and why it's important, and these particular products or solutions will help because of blah blah blah. And at one point, Richard kind of stopped me and was, "Okay, we're up to like 58 minutes now. We're gonna have to do a lot of trimming to put that online." Yeah. And I had the same. When we did the podcast for Cloud Day 2-day clouds, or I forget that I'm having a brain fart. Anyway, I'll put the link in the description. But it was about networking in the cloud, like the differences between like plugging in Wireshark on a regular network versus how do you start monitoring and picking up networking diagnostic in the cloud, which when the wire is invisible or virtual, like how do you tap it? Like all the kind of things. And the same thing, like at one point the guy said, okay, well, which part do you think we should, after we were done, and in the post chat, there's like, okay, which part are we going to be able to cut? Because this is way too long for a podcast. We're going to lose a lot of our audience. We tried to keep it under 40 minutes. When the conversation flows and the information is interesting and informative, people lose track of the clock. And we do every week. So, because right now we've got, theoretically, we've got 8 minutes left.
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh, that's exactly the same for me, Pierre. It's just I always thought, well, I'll start off. I think it's, you got to again realize what you're creating the videos for, and it's, for me, it's not about the view count. It's not about I'm just an IT guy from the UK. I'm nobody special. I just enjoy doing this stuff. So I always have the aim of doing like half an hour video just to talk about something, a loose storyline, talk around it. And before you know it, you're up around the 45, 50 minute, an hour mark, and you're thinking, wow. And so back to my original point, that just goes straight on YouTube. I skip the editing part, so, just because of time more than anything, because, there's just not enough hours in the day.
Yeah. But if you were looking for like growth, especially on YouTube, keeping it under that 30-minute line is very important.
Yeah.
Because if you keep it under that 30-minute line, the amount of time that your video shows up in that algorithm where they will be suggested to other people for discoverability is very much increased from not doing it. And Anthony, maybe next time at some point we'll get Wireless Life to come on the show and tell us on like his process for the social aspect of promotions. But he's looked at it in statistical analysis on it, and we now make sure that AZ updates, like we stop like a minute early. First of all, because we're also on Learn TV, which is a hard stop, whether you're finished or not. They disconnect you. But if it's within that 30 minutes, you get, the algorithm greatly benefits you.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, if you're up to 45 minutes, whether or not you go to 55 is not going to make a huge difference. But it's that 30-minute line is really key for the YouTubes at least.
I've noticed that with YouTube channels, especially gamers and folks that are like that are big on getting the money from YouTube. For a long time there was like everything was locked in at like 10 minutes or 30, and it's just all sorts of various things past 30.
Yeah.
And Buckeye guy JFlo has a good point here. You know, if you're not having fun, or if you are having fun, no one cares how long the show is running.
Yeah.
And I agree with that personally. I don't mind listening to shows that go long if I'm enjoying the show and having fun.
And when we really think about it, the conversation we're having now would be the same conversation we'd be having if we were sitting at a bar in Orlando with the three of us and Rick and Buckeye and everybody else sitting, and this is the conversation we'd be having. Why? Because we're geeks and we love this stuff.
For sure.
Yeah.
You know, it to me, this is what it's not just the creativity from this. It is the interaction, both live interaction like we're having here that I have every other week with Pierre, or every other weeks with Joey and Rick. But it's also the interaction with the chat room. It's the interaction with people through the Discord, the IT Ops Talk Discord. That's just been, I think it kind of helped carry me through COVID. To be honest, the lockdowns, for sure.
Yeah, they even our BGU team or our group. For those of you who are not familiar, we have a Discord server for BGU, which BGU stands for Bad Gamers United. Because really, we are bad gamers, especially
not the guys that play Fortnite. All those guys playing Fortnite, they're winning all the time. What the heck is up with that?
I don't know, aimbots.
Gotta be aimbots. Gotta be.
I really tried to get into the Fortnite with the rest of them. I've even tried Apex Legends. I always go back to my go-to is Call of Duty, and BGU had a bad bug. Yeah.
Okay.
And we started this really because at the beginning of the pandemic, it was like Friday nights or Saturday nights because we're all stuck at home. Well, let's meet online. So we would have these games sometimes, and we'd have 15 of us or 10, 15 of us in one game and playing and shooting the and having fun, and it's just a way to connect. It's just you don't see the person face to face, but we're still having a drink, apple juice and water, and making sure that we keep those connections and that semi real world connections going.
No kidding. It's definitely an interesting. We live in interesting times for sure, based on all that we've gone through. And I'm glad I got into the whole podcasting. It was really to go from we were in the studio all the time with Passion Switch to, oh my gosh, we now have to figure out how to do this, and like I got software equipment and got it all figured out, and it's like, wow.
Well, mostly.
Yeah, well, still figuring it out.
Sometimes, yeah, sometimes.
You know,
if the computer doesn't overheat, yeah.
Oh.
Well,
no, I think we I know we've covered this extensively. My machine has been, knock on wood, incredibly stable since I replaced the. No.
So you haven't needed the ice bucket like Wireless Life?
It wasn't actually an overheating problem. It was blue screens.
Yeah.
And
that's right.
It was full on blue screens, and it was memory errors. And using the Win debug, I actually figured it out, and that was like, oh my gosh. And I sent the support team, it's this, and they're like, oh yeah, that's a memory error. Sorry, here's a brand new. They sent me 4 brand new sticks, and they're like, pull. In the meantime, you can try and figure out which one's bad, or they sent me second day air, brand new set. Well, I just like, okay, I can wait 2 days.
Yep.
So, Yes, I don't need an SSD. I got some RAM. Thank you very much, Mr. JFlow. Wow.
I need a freaking GPU.
I can't help you there, dude. I'm not going to give up on.
I'm on so many waiting lists. I've noticed though that there's a lot more of them showing up on eBay now at closer than to retail pricing.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly because all of the Chinese crypto farms have been shut down, and now they're trying to recoup some of that investment. But I don't know if I want to buy a GPU that's been beaten like a rented mule. It's like would you buy a car from a rental company?
Yeah, exactly. Isn't that beaten like a rented goalie? I mean, that's the one I've heard.
I'm missing
Potato.
It's yes. It's a ESPN hockey thing.
Okay. Rented goalie, right with you.
Yeah.
So you say goalie in the UK? I think soccer, football, and it's.
Yeah, we don't want to talk about that right here. No.
No, well, I'm Welsh. It doesn't matter. I'm Welsh, So.
Oh, okay. All right. Good. So.
Yeah, Fuel Snavel says the rental car is the fastest car I've ever drove.
So true.
A buddy of mine made sure that like he paid extra to rent, and I think it was the first year that the Dodge Magnum.
Mm-hmm.
They had it, so he made sure, and he took it and beat the living crap out of it. And on the way back, hit a pothole doing about 160 kilometers, about 100 miles an hour. And when he hit the pothole, the strut went through the chuck tower.
Oh gosh!
Under the hood. He calls me, what would you do? I said, go see Andre, and because another friend of mine, he had a welder in his garage. So we pulled the car in the garage, jacked it up so that the metal would come back. We welded it, sanded it, went to Canadian Tire, picked up a can of paint, the color match, painted it back up, closed the hood, and drove it back to the rental company.
Wow. I'm just gonna say, wow.
All I did is contribute the paint. I was not part of the actual damaging of the vehicle. We do not condone that kind of behavior.
Not in the least. And then I'm waiting for Buckeye Guy JFlow to talk about my trip to Scotland, where I got a flat tire on the Firkin Point.
Buckeye says, "I'll sell you my old GTX 1070."
That's nice of him.
I have one of those. I'm looking for the 3070.
I know.
Or the 3060 Ti if you have got one of those.
Yeah. But it's good to have everybody. We've hit the hour mark. Is there anything else we want to talk?
Let me look at the plan, because we actually Rick, we have a plan.
Okay. Yeah. Let's see here.
Pen and paper.
Johnnychipz, got that.
Yeah. Live versus recorded. We covered that a little bit with Johnny.
Yeah, we covered a little bit, but I think that's one we can go deeper into.
Oh, do you know, I was going to say on that point about recorded, I was just looking for the link now, but you can get a creator, what do they call it when, Camtasia, Camtasia, the product, you can get a license key if you're, doing it for kind of community or, learning efforts, you can get a community license key. So for Snagit and Camtasia. So I just signed up for one of those now. So if anybody wants to do that, they can.
I love Camtasia for most stuff, especially for screen recording. But I do most of my editing in Adobe Premiere, mostly when the sound is recorded separately from the videos, because it's better at matching these things.
Yeah.
But the learning curve is much steeper.
I was going to say earlier when you mentioned Resolve, Jared, I think one of the problems I had was recording out of OBS. Resolve wasn't, I forget which file format, but Resolve wasn't like in one of the file formats. So that's...
I've had to do that. MKV has been a good format. especially if you have multi-channel audio that you're recording.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
another tip, if you're in recording in settings in OBS, if you go to settings, and let me see if I can get that
Screen share.
Oh yeah, share screen, this one, and add to stream.
Ta-da!
Ta-da!
Screen share.
Screen share. So if you go into your settings under advanced, there's a recording section. There's a little button here that says automatically remux to MP4. So every time you when you stop recording, it takes the MKV file format that it has and then re-encodes it as an MP4 automatically.
Okay.
So that then once you have the MP4, you can basically bring it in anywhere.
Yep.
Yeah. That's an interesting one. I'll have to have a little play with that because I think I went through the mix. I'm just seeing. I think I'm on almost raw. I think I'm on .mov at the minute, which is quite a large file size.
And I've changed my file name formatting so to add the %CCYY-%MM, so that whenever my recordings are actually created in separate directory for each month. So I have like 2020 each month has got my recording, so I don't end up with a folder with like a gazillion files when I'm looking for a specific folder.
Yeah, that's a good tip.
I've actually been working on some PowerShells that I'm gonna leave on my. I leave my machine on a lot, and I have been uploading a lot of my files onto Azure Storage as my backup, as well as my file server at the house and when I'm at home. And I'm actually going to do that. That's where I'm only going to keep what I need as far as live files on my machine, the most recent things that I'm working on. But then everything else is either on my local file server and in Azure Storage for me to go grab.
I do a similar thing, but I use Apple. I use iCloud Drive. Is that what it's called? The Apple product.
Yep.
Only because I'm we got 5 iPhones in the household, so we've got like a few terabytes plan. So I thought, well, I got all these terabytes, I may as well try and use them. So I do the same thing. You can get them uploaded, then free the space up from your local computer. A bit like OneDrive. Very similar concept that you can leave the file there as a stub and download it if you need it.
Yep.
I've just used a whole bunch of leftover hardware I had in the house. The only thing new that I put in was 2 6 terabyte NAS drives, and now I'm debating if I go 22 Windows Server 2022 with file storage or file
sync. Is it?
No, not file sync, because I don't want to pay for it in the cloud. This is for like stuff here that I've already got other backups for. It's just a centralized location for all of the machines to have their backups to, and stuff, like a second location. So I'm wondering whether or not I go with Windows Server 2022 or Free NAS, or True NAS, I think as it's called now, which is a Linux-based network attached storage.
I am actually using Windows 10, and the reason why I'm using Windows 10 is it's also my my media streamer on the local network at the house, and it seems like almost every software is written for Windows client, not Windows Server. And I'm like, okay, whatever, I'll just run Windows client, and it's been running perfect.
Okay.
So
yeah, I started thinking about that when I had that discussion on our Discord server with actually Buckeye JFlow was part of that discussion, where I already have a Office 365 tenant. And when I was thinking about after that discussion, I'm like, okay, maybe I should go to Free NAS because I didn't want to have to manage a new set of accounts locally. So I was trying, but I'm also checking for that for a customer, as how do we replicate the accounts they already have in Office 365 back down to on-prem so that they could use other services. So I'm testing a bunch of stuff, but there's nothing that's supported.
Well, one of the things I was doing was I have all my accounts actually syncing to that file server, all my OneDrives, because I also back it up to Azure storage. Now, I had been using Cloudberry backup that just basically uses storage accounts, but I switched over to start using Azure backup. I hate to say it, I'm paying almost 100 times with Azure backup, so I'm looking to go back to the Cloudberry and just use the storage accounts for it.
Yeah, it's funny.
Way too much.
Crushed Network says, I love that people still have extra hardware sitting around like it's 2010.
Oh yeah. I actually, when I moved out of my condo into my apartment, I actually finally did a whole bunch of hardware. Like, I just got to dump this and took it down to the free cycle place, and it was actually quite refreshing to get rid of all those cables and hardware and everything. I did. And Mr. Mosby brings up Veeam has a free Windows backup client as well. I'm gonna have to take a look at that too. I got the Cloudberry just because it was a free client, trying it out. This will be another good one to try out. But the one thing I did have, and I still have the box of hard drives of all my old hard drives. And there's a place in Seattle, in a community in Seattle called Ballard, and they will shred the hard drives, and you can actually watch them being destroyed for legal reasons if you need it, but me just for fun to watch it shred a whole bunch of hard drives.
To the disc.
Like, will it blend? Will it blend or will it shred?
That's exactly it.
I have to admit, I have taken a couple of drives, but not too many, to the our local Microsoft office, because there's an Iron Mountain box there. It's locked and secured. It has one of those like a slot at the top, like a mailbox, where you can put stuff in, but you can't take stuff out. Where you can drop hardwares into and hard drives, and they get shredded like that.
Oh yeah. If I do that, I'll make sure I can film it, and we'll get a nice recorded session that we can watch.
Yeah.
As soon as I get back to Seattle.
Actually, Buckeye had said that he has a desktop in the corner running an AD environment and AD Connect for his lab. Maybe we'll have a get together and figure out a way to sync the accounts where accounts have already been created in the cloud. So that I could do that, because then if I could do that, I'll make it as a domain controller, and then I don't have to worry about creating more accounts. They're already there.
Okay, Guy JFlow's the guy to help you on that one for sure.
Well, that's what I'm thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe we happen to stream it.
We could test in production with it.
Yeah.
We're
always looking for new content.
Exactly. We've been we thank everybody. We've had everybody stick around for a good hour and 15 minutes. I've had a ton of fun chatting with Mr. Jonnychipz. Johnny, where can people find you online?
Oh, I'm floating around most social network platforms. So yeah, on Twitter at Johnnychipz there on the screen. Yeah, or by YouTube. Really, they're the two main areas I kind of hang out a lot in. But yeah, come and say hello.
I think I posted that earlier, but I will.
I'm trying to find it right now.
I got it. I got it. There we go. There's his YouTube channel. Make sure to reach out. Click that subscribe button. Ring the bell.
Hey,
like
you got to get all the things. I gotta get all the things on the screen now, isn't it? Pow.
Exactly.
Cha-ching.
There we go. And now we got it on video here. So
that's right.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. I know it was kind of a semi-last minute.
My pleasure.
I appreciate it. It was a lot of fun. And
yeah, always fun.
If any of you would like to come on and talk about things like this, please do feel free to reach out. I'm Jay Shock on the Twitters.
And I am and always shall be at Wired Canuck.
And we do have Test in Prodcast is our Twitter for the channel itself.
Test in Prodcast?
That's all I could get, man. Testing and production was already taken.
That sounds like a prostate exam.
I know, right? And yes, Rick, we know we're freeloading.
We're contributing to your hours of streaming, so to maintain your affiliate status.
Exactly. So, anyways, we thank everybody. Next week, so AZ Update is technically on hiatus, but you're doing short newscasts every week. Is that right?
Yes, and apparently we are back on August 6th. I just had to
Excellent.
make sure on my notes here. We're back on August 6th.
Cool.
So Anthony will have to start thinking about production meeting scheduling.
And that's at 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific. I'm trying to do the calculations in my head.
At 2 p.m. I think UK
1400 UTC, yes.
time. So
and then we have, of course, next week is Patch and Switch at the normal time of 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 noon Eastern,
Every fourth
1600
night?
UTC. And if you want to have a little fun, you may want to take a look. I might be doing a little game streaming tonight based off of some of the talk in the chat room of some people possibly jumping into Verdansk.
did somebody say Verdansk?
Verdansk. I need a little penguin. I could probably pull. I don't have the tattoos, but I could at least pull off the voice and things of Tim the Tatman.
Yeah.
But thanks a lot for showing up, Jonnychipz. As always, thank you again.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me on, guys. Lovely to speak to you.
Terrific, Pierre. I think we can maybe head on out.
Yeah, the only thing is because this was a last minute set and it took me a while to get everything ready, I forgot the outgoing video, so we're just going to cut it out.
That's no problem.
How?
Yeah, pow, exactly. And a small announcement for everyone. Yes, why? That's right. He's got to go work on that underwater data center in Scotland.
I'm doing a technical deep dive.
Yes. We actually have all the videos are edited, and we're going through setting up all the descriptions, and those should be published soon. So
that's right.
If you're looking for old episodes, they will be up on YouTube shortly. So.
All right. Well, maybe I should actually get back to work, considering my boss is back in the stream.
Do that. Yeah, he's kind of like that. Isn't he?
No, actually,
freeloaders.
As bosses are concerned, he's setting a pretty high bar. So,
suck up. Got it. Nice.
No. I'm being very careful. Very
very careful. Okay.
Not very careful. Very genuine.
No, they are.
There's a reason why we've been working together and kind of leapfrogging each other from company to company for 18 years now.
Wow.
Actually, probably a little bit more than that, close to 20.
Dang. Amazing enough. Well, thanks again, Pierre, for doing this with me. Like I said, this has been a lot of fun. So
it has.
Awesome.
See you guys next time.
Take care. Bye-bye.
See you next time.
It's going to be a pretty abrupt ending, but bye.
Yeah.